Hey everybody, welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel and this is my reality. Um, so first things first, just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for supporting me and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. Um, if you're new here, welcome. Please return. Please hit the like button. Hit all the buttons. Subscribe, like, share, notifications, hit all of the buttons. Um, it's a free and easy way to support my channel. Oh, I was supposed to put on my little microphone. Damn it. I'll do it next time. But I was supposed to put on the microphone because it did a good job of. My husband got me like one of those wireless microphones. Anyway, we'll do it next time. So today's topic is this guy, IRV Gotti. I don't know how old everyone is that watches my channel, but IRV Gotti was a music producer, and he did a lot of. He had a lot of hits with people like Ja Rule and Ashanti and a few others that I can't remember. But those are the two main ones that I remember. Um, and so anyway, I want to say in the early 2000s, he had a lot of hits with and J-Lo. J-Lo and Ja Rule did like several songs together or remixes or whatever you want to call it. And a few days ago, he just passed away. And I remember I was on this other channel. Shout out to the Drip Show. But I was on their panel and it was like breaking news. This guy passed away and he's like relatively young. I feel like he was in his like 50s, but I could be wrong about that. Let me look. Yeah. Okay. So it's the internet says he was 54. That's really young, in my opinion. Reports have said that he suffered a stroke and that, he already had some previous or prior health conditions that are chronic. One that's being reported is diabetes, and diabetes can be a very frustrating illness, especially if you have type 2 diabetes, because it's a natural thing to want to eat food, especially food that tastes good. So to have to restrict yourself could be a little bit challenging for people. And also, too, I think diabetes is one of those things that when it's out of control, meaning your levels are really high, you feel normal. You feel normal. When the doctor puts you on the medicine, it brings your A1C down or your blood sugar down, then you feel like crap. Like I've had diabetes. I don't have it anymore, but I remember being in the store and I took some medicine before I left home. And what happens with diabetes, if you take medicine, sorry, it's like a hair on my lip. Okay. Um, if the dosage is too high, you get like legit, like you feel like you're gonna die. You shaking. You know what I mean? So it could be a very challenging illness to kind of like manage. But if you exercise and you eat better and you lose weight, it tends to go away. So, anyways, that's what's being reported. It was reported. I don't. I didn't really follow IRV Gotti like that to know where he was in his career or whatever was going on in his personal life. But apparently, he had already been sick from having really significantly high blood sugar. It's one of those silent killers, in my opinion. Dr. Oz, he explained it years ago on Oprah. I think he was like, diabetes is like if you could imagine a whole bunch of little shards of glass in your body and your bloodstream. And what diabetes does is goes through and like cuts up all your organs that you need, like your kidneys. And that's why you hear people dying of like kidney failure and stuff like that. But it does it in little bitty stages. And so over time, you could lose your leg or your limbs or your eyesight and on and on and on. But anyways, I'm not a doctor. So if you think you might have some diabetes, please go see your doctor. Everything on Chanel's Reality is in my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. And it's all alleged, right? So I wanted to play this video. There's a channel called Culture Spill, and I just love the way she delivers the message. It's almost like she knows everything about everything, but I love the way she delivers the message that she's going to be delivering. It's easy to understand. she's a little shady with it sometimes, but fair, I feel. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it for you guys, and then we'll go from there. Let's see if I can share my screen. I think it's this one. Let's see. Okay.
It's definitely not a great time for the music industry and fans, as the world has lost one of the greats in the industry. And I'm talking about IRV Gotti. And while condolence messages continue to stream in, you know what else is streaming in? Theories about what really happened to IRV.
This is why my kids get mad, because I'm telling them, like, yo, I'm gonna live. Right. Like, y'all want me to die and not enjoy life. I'm gonna enjoy life and do certain. Right. No, Dad, but you can't do that. I'm like, guys, stop me.
Now, I know that IRV was unwell for a while and most likely passed on due to complications from his diabetes. But as usual, we had people wondering whether there may have been any foul play. And with people asking questions like, didn't he just sell his label's catalog for some outrageous number? We've even had people connecting his death to Diddy, calling it karma and stress-related for the things he did to women. And others also saying that it has something to do with 50 Cent. Something about him dying on 2/5/25 and 25 plus 25 totaling 50. It's been wild. But let's just get right into it. Okay, we know that IRV Gotti played a key role in hip-hop and R&B records for decades, working with artists like Ja Rule, Ashanti, and DMX, each of whom saw massive commercial success. His signature production style blended hip-hop beats with melodic hooks and influenced a wave of rap and R&B crossover hits that were inescapable from 2001 to 2004, and among them, several multi-platinum hits with artists like Ashanti, Ja Rule, and Jennifer Lopez. His production credits also extend to records by Kanye West, Memphis Bleek, Fat Joe, and Christina Milian, among many others, and he also released several albums under his own name. Unfortunately, his family confirmed the news of his death after being hospitalized, and the general assumption was that he died due to complications from his diabetes. IRV was actually pretty open with his struggles with diabetes, saying he wasn't consistent with taking his insulin, and noted that his doctors had encouraged him to change his diet, which he was struggling to do. While IRV also said that his levels had shot up, and that at some point, his diabetes became uncontrollable.
All right. You know, my diabetes, my number's been high. So they just wanted me to.
Until this week, my dad did not know where he was from. It means the world to share ancestry with my dad, so in Nigeria.
He's like, Dad, you can't do drink champs.
So I wanted to shout out to my girl TMKC. Hey, boo, hey. Love her. She always comes and supports. She says, hit the like and subscribe button to my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. And Carmen just put a little heart in the thing. Hey, Carmen. Okay, so let's get back into it. Hold on, I just gotta find it 1 second. Okay, here we go.
Does is it starts deteriorating your body. All right. So.
And you good? Like you got it under control?
No.
Oh wow.
When my number gets too high, shot. I told you, if you eat something and it tastes good, it's better.
Even too much fruit is sugar, depending on the level of diabetes.
But when IRV had a stroke in August 2024 and had to use a cane, a source reported about his condition, saying, IRV has been struggling with diabetes for years, which caused him to have a minor stroke over 6 months ago. He has since changed his diet to eating more healthy. He's been successful in making a full recovery. IRV is not in a rehab facility. He is at home with his family, enjoying his life. Unfortunately, he had another stroke recently, but upon confirmation of his death, people online have been saying that this could be more than just complications caused by diabetes. And one name that has come up a lot with relation to his death is 50 Cent. Again, like I said, people were talking about IRV dying on 2/5/25 and 25 plus 25 totaling 50. And I don't know what that has to do with anything, but to some people, the death was karma for what he did to 50, or that 50 may have had something to do with his death. Now, let me take you back a little bit and explain this beef with 50 Cent so you can see where people are coming from. So their dispute dates back to 1999. 1999 when a close associate of 50 Cent allegedly robbed Ja Rule in Southside Jamaica, Queens. At the time, Ja Rule was the label's leading artist at Irv's label, while 50 was just emerging in the rap scene. This incident fueled animosity, leading 50 Cent to release Your Life's on the Line in October of that year, directly targeting Ja Rule and the label. The tension then escalated in 2000 when 50 Cent and Ja Rule clashed at an Atlanta nightclub, and things intensified further in March of the same year when members of G Unit and Irv's label engaged in an altercation at the Hit Factory studio in New York. 50 Cent ended up being. And following the incident, Irv Gotti and Ja Rule claimed that 50 Cent filed a protective order against them. Not long after, 50 Cent was 9 times outside his grandmother's home in Queens, and a federal investigation later suggested that Queens Lord Kenneth Supreme McGriff, who had strong ties to Irv Gotti, was involved. Actually, for those who recall, Irv's career faced some setbacks in the mid-2000s due to an FBI investigation and a raid of his label's offices.
So she's referring to this guy. I think he's some sort of like big deal, like true life gangster in New York. And apparently Ja Rule and Irv Gotti and people that are associated with Ja Rule and Irv Gotti had some sort of relationship with this Supreme guy, who I'm pretty sure is some sort of drug kingpin. And since Ja Rule and Irv Gotti had gotten into it, I'm not Irv Gotti, 50 Cent was being like a little menace of who he is, really, back in the early 2000s. And so he was, doing what he does, trolling whoever and talking shit. It's just how 50 is. And I guess Irv Gotti and them didn't take too lightly to it. And then I don't know if someone beat up Irv Gotti or tried to beat him up or tried to beat up Ja Rule. Not really sure exactly how that came about, but this Supreme guy, I guess he's about that life. And so either he went or he sent his people most likely to murk 50 Cent, which is crazy. It's like you got to unalive somebody because of some fake beef. It's just, people need to value life more, and they just, in this world we live in, a lot of times people, they'll kill you over a whole quarter. I'll never forget that when I was in middle school, there was a program we had at the school. You know how you have like a speaker come and talk to the kids or whatever. And I don't remember exactly what everything was about, but I do remember it had something to do with not using drugs, right? That was back in the early 90s. But anyways, I remember there was a lady, like, what do we call them? The lunch lady? She raised her hand. She was all the way in the back of the cafeteria. And I remember her saying how her son was involved with whatever he was involved with. And he owed someone like, a quarter or something. It was something minute like that. And they murked her son over it. That's the kind of stuff that like stuck to me. Just like my DARE teacher. No, the cop that came to our school during like DARE, remember that, with the little shirts and to keep our kids off drugs? And that man was like, the sheriff was like, yes, you're going to die if you ever use drugs. Thankfully, I believed him. So I've never used a drug. But it's just things like that kind of stick out in your mind. And so it's just crazy to me, like how easily people can snuff your life out about absolutely nothing, which is also part of the reason I wish we would legalize some of these illicit drugs, not because I want anyone to use them, but if you legalize it and you make it to where people have to come to a regular, legit business to get, kind of like what they're doing with weed and stuff, to get it, then it takes away a lot of the, one, it's going to decriminalize whatever it is, but also two, it takes away from that whole dark alley, someone trying to murk you because you're on their street corner. Like it could be an actual professional business, and it is in several states that have legalized it. I don't want anyone to be taking illicit drugs for any reason. However, I know we live in a world where people do. I started working for CPS years ago, right out of college, and I immediately realized America has a coke problem. Okay. Immediately, I was just like, damn, everybody is? Because, we had to do drug tests, and it's just like, parent after parent, they would have the cocaine in their system, swearing they ain't used. But anyway, that's another rabbit hole. But I just feel like if we decriminalized it, then it could be safer, and I think it would end a lot of the things that happen to people who are in that street world. You know what I'm saying? But I don't ever think that's going to happen. So I know I'm just hopelessly wishing for something that's not going to happen. But I do think it would be good if they did. I just don't see how it would work out for the people who are going to go get addicted. It's just substance use issues. It's a big problem in this country. It's a big problem in a lot of countries. But usually when you watch the first 48 or 2020 or 48 Hours Mystery, it's always about, there's usually three things involved: drugs, sex, and money. Those are usually the big motivators for why people murder people. And it's sad. And it's like, when you listen to these stories of these people lost their life over nothing, like, it's ludicrous to me. So, like I said, she's talking about this guy that's, I think, some sort of drug kingpin in New York, and his name is Supreme, or I think that's at least a part of his name. So anyway, let's just finish listening to what she has to say about what's going on with IRV Gotti.
To alleged ties with Supreme. And although ultimately acquitted, the case damaged the label's reputation completely. Allegedly, IRV's label orchestrated 50 Cent's attack on Supreme's behalf in retaliation for 50 mentioning Supreme in Ghetto Quran, which detailed the inner dealings of not only the Supreme team, but the underworld of New York at large. In the song, 50 Cent recalled dealing as a kid, but also described the crimes of Supreme, who ran Supreme team. He referred to Kenneth McGriff as Preem and described him as the respected businessman, while characterizing his partner Prince as the one who got the dirty jobs done. So for a long time, people have always speculated that because of that, Supreme was the one who put the hit out on 50 when he was 9 times. And there has always also been speculation that IRV is the one who gave up 50 to Supreme. Allegedly, IRV Gotti and Supreme also made sure 50's debut album, Power of the Dollar, was never released. And he also lost his deal with Columbia Records after the incident. Well, even though there were no receipts to prove that IRV had anything to do with the incident involving 50 Cent, what followed after that was a long feud between him and 50 Cent. Like in 2017, 50 Cent threatened to slap IRV and exchanged jabs with him over their respective BET shows. In 2021, 50 also publicly criticized IRV for his comments about DMX's death. And in August 2024, 50 Cent mocked IRV Gotti's health struggles after reports surfaced that he suffered a stroke and was using a cane. 50 Cent also took to social media to taunt IRV, referencing a line from his 2002 hit Wanksta saying, "Damn, homie, in high school you was the man, homie. WTF happened to you? I want IRV to get well so he can catch my next wave." He also posted about his recent hospitalization, captioning his post, "Damn, I wanted him to see my new shoes, yo." And after the news of the death was confirmed, 50 Cent posted a photo on Instagram of himself smoking next to a grave headstone that reads RIP and added in the caption, "I'm smoking on that Gotti pack. Nah, God bless him. LOL. Well, they had beef until death did they part. But honestly, I doubt 50 had anything to do with his death. Anyway, like I mentioned, we also had people connecting IRV to Diddy, saying that stress may have contributed to his death because he knew he would be going down for Diddy-related cases. Now, I know that y'all know that IRV was hardly a saint with women, and there have been stories out there about how he really treated some of the women he worked with. I mean, he and his former artist Ashanti even had a war of words a couple of years ago, after he opened up on Drink Champs about what he described as their relationship. Ashanti fired back, saying it was never that serious to her, and accused Gotti of being salty he no longer had control over her career. In fact, if you watch Ashanti's interviews about IRV, you will know exactly how she felt about him and how he treated her.
As you know, when someone is consistently saying to you, "You ain't it, you're not even loyal," "I made you, I made the world one of you," you know what I'm saying? He would say, he would say, "Want to you because I made you look like that. I made," in those exact words. So So
now on the Diddy connection, people pointed to an old interview Wendy Williams did with Corrine Superhead Steffens after she released her book. For those who recall, Superhead was one of the first people to expose Diddy when she talked about how IRV Gotti pretty much passed her off to Diddy because he was asking about her when they went to his party. She said in her book that there was a lot of at the party, and she and Diddy ended up hooking up. But Diddy also wanted a man involved. She then said that months later, she ended up hanging out with Exhibit, and she ran into a Diddy party again, and they noticed a lot of gay activities at the party. According to her, Diddy was on paranoid that she was going to expose their sessions. And when Superhead did her interview with Wendy, Wendy was asking all the right questions. And she kind of suggested that Irv rolled just like Diddy. In addition, back in July 2024, an unidentified woman alleged that Irv Gotti SA'd her over the course of a 2-year period between 2020 and 2022. According to the complaint, the woman first met Irv through a mutual friend at a poker game in 2020. After they met, Jane Doe alleged that Irv Gotti invited her on a vacation to St. Martin, where she alleged that Irv coerced her into having intercourse with him. Per the lawsuit, Gotti specifically threatened plaintiff that he would send her home if she did not comply with his demands. Accordingly, and due to his power and influence in the music world, she complied. Upon their return from vacation, the woman claimed she and Irv Gotti entered into a relationship which lasted until 2022. And during this time, she alleged she suffered a lot. The woman claimed that in January 2022, Irv forced her to perform oral on him in a hotel elevator in Miami. And she also claimed that later that same year, he forced her to perform oral again, this time in the back of an Uber in Atlanta. Per the lawsuit, the Jane Doe alleged that as a result of the relationship, she has suffered severe emotional and psychological harm for which she had to be committed to a psychiatric ward. According to the lawsuit, the plaintiff was asking for a trial by jury, as well as compensatory damages. Well, Irv denied the allegations, and a rep said that he had been surrounded by strong women the entirety of his life, his mother, 5 sisters, and daughter. The rep also said that top employees at his company are women, and that his relationship with women has been characterized by mutual respect, honesty, and empathy. But people still said that there were probably more cases like those. And because Irv knew the authorities would be narrowing down on him, the stress contributed to his deteriorating health. Again, it is a bit wild to have all these Diddy connections, but it's Hollywood, guys. And in Hollywood, people always have to connect deaths to something nasty. In fact, other than what I've already mentioned, we have people on social media insisting that the family is possibly hiding the details of Irv's death. But do you also think that there's something sus going on here? Are they hiding something about the death? What are your thoughts on the Diddy and 50 Cent connections? Let me know your thoughts in the...
Of course. No, I don't know. I don't know his family. I've never heard anything about his family, but I will say the accusations that were made in this video, where it wasn't the video, the lady in charge of the channel that made it, but I'm saying, like what Ashanti was saying, I never knew that. I wonder when she said that. I never knew that. And you would think, you know what, too? Like, I watched the video a few years ago. I feel like it was a few years ago, but it was him. It was Irv Gotti talking about how he found out that Ashanti had moved on with Nelly. And the way he explained it, and of course I'm paraphrasing, but the way he explained it, it was just kind of like, you know, they had this great romance, and then she was gone for like a day or two or something like that. And then the next time he saw her is like Ashanti and Nelly was walking into something, some sort of either premiere or maybe a comic view, not comic view, but like a Laugh Factory type of setting. Basically, they were going on a date, or they were in some sort of industry party or something to that effect. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was basically like, I saw it on TV and that's how I found out we were no longer together. And so when he said that, or when I watched that, I thought, oh, that's so messed up. You know what I'm saying? But I understand why sis didn't want to, you know, leave Nelly. I'm just saying, have you looked at him? Have you seen him? He talked about his pimp juice. I'm just saying. I guess Ashanti wanted to get him for his pimp juice. Oh man, but it's understandable because rest his soul in peace. But Irv Gotti is not handsome. He looks like he should be, but he isn't to me. But that's just my personal opinion. You know, everybody isn't going to be cute to everybody. Okay, here we go. And then when you hear her side of it, it's like, I believe her. I believe every word that she's saying about him or said about him. IRV Gotti, because of the way she said it too. It was just kind of like, I know that's how men are. Not all men, but there are some men that are like that, where they're so possessive, jealous, you know, controlling, and they want to be able to control everybody in their circle, because typically those people don't have any control over their real life. Let's just keep it a book. They don't have control in their real life, so it's like, okay, let me find somebody I can control. So I'll love bomb her and tell her how great she is and love, 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 and then all of a sudden one day they pushing you or grabbing you a little harder. It's sort of like, I feel like people who are violent towards their intimate partners, I'll say, I feel like they're always like kind of like testing the waters a little bit. It's kind of like those people who steal your information, like your identity, right? And they want to go buy something on the internet or at the local grocery store. What they'll do is, excuse me, they'll, you know, if they steal your card or if it's online, they'll buy something small, right? So something for like $2, $3, something that most people wouldn't miss out of their bank account, you know, or $10, something, like I said, something really small and insignificant. And if that goes through, then they might do another small purchase just to see if anyone's gonna, you know, block the card or catch on to what's going on. Um, and when they don't, then that's when they go in for the kill. That's when it's like, oh my God, someone spent $2,000 out of my bank account. So just be careful. Hey, Adub Waghayi. Good evening. Hi. Thanks for coming and supporting my channel. I really appreciate you guys. Really, really appreciate you. Shout out to Mr. Drip. I call him Mr. Drip. Uncle Daddy Drip. I think is what he wants me to call him. But anyway, go check out his channel. Go subscribe. I think he's starting a new channel too. I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it's for people who want to grow their channel or you know, whatever it is, their social media presence in the world. But the Drip Show, it's cool people. We always having a whole lot of fun over there. Just saying, just a whole lot of fun. At least I do. I have a whole lot of fun. But yeah, I feel like abusers are that's their MO. It's like, let me just first I'll just grab you a little bit, and you know, then when I do it, I'll gaslight you afterwards and say, well, you know, I wouldn't have grabbed you, but you wouldn't stop talking or whatever. You said you were going to make food, you didn't, or, you know, that's how narcissists think. No matter what they did wrong, it's always someone else made them do it. Or why are you bringing up how I treated you? Like that type of mentality. But yeah, to start off as a little, you know, shake or maybe grab you really hard, or they may even slap you, you know, and then the moment they can suck you back in, they're gonna again try to love bomb you. I love you so much, I would never do this again, blah blah blah. And let's be clear, this shit happens way more than people think in settings that you wouldn't think, like seventh graders in middle school. Happens a lot. I used to teach these classes called Preparation for Adult Living. And we always would, you know, teach like personal interpersonal skills. And it talks a lot about the power and control dynamic in relationships. And these kids usually, I taught like 15 and a half to like 18. Many of them talked about how they had been in, you know, abusive relationships, and they're like 12. That's crazy. It's crazy. You know, it's like, what the hell? A dub, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Says, want me to drop Drip's other channel in the chat? Yeah, you can. Absolutely. We support Mr. Drip over here. Thanks for doing that and letting me know. But yeah, so anyways, back to it. People that are controlling, especially if it's a man controlling a woman physically and, you know, intimidating her or threatening her, stalking her, all of these types of things happen. But to the outside world, in many cases, that person is very charismatic and gets along with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like, if the woman then says, or the person that's being abused then says, you know, tells anyone, people are like, well, he doesn't act like that in person. People at his job love him. That's why. It's because narcissists are master manipulators, and they're like chameleons. So if you think about it, I don't know how many people are old as me, but like there was this guy, was it Ted Bundy? I feel like it was Ted Bundy. I can't remember his name. But anyway, he was a serial, unaliver. And how he would unalive the women is that his looks took them completely by surprise. So they would never think, oh, this cute, handsome guy is going to take me home from the bar or wherever it is he met them. And then he's going to commence to unaliving me. And he didn't look the part. And that's why I always tell people when I talk about like SA, that the perpetrators can look exactly like the victim. And they'll sit across from you and laugh and talk and cry and swear they ain't do nothing. Yeah, you did it. And I know that you did it. But that's how they do it, so then they isolate you, they lie on you, that type of thing. If she was a hoe or she broke, like they lie on you so that they can garner the, acceptance and the, okay, well, we understand from the people that can help them keep their, lie going, their lie of who they are to the world. So Ashanti saying that about IRV Gotti, I'm like, damn. And then too, it was very interesting, because people think if you are beautiful or if you're sexy or educated, whatever it is, accomplished, that you will be the last person that would be with an abusive person. Because what man doesn't want to have some beautiful, fit, sexy woman on his shoulders? On his arm, always. So when you think about it, it's like, well, if Ashanti is beautiful and she's successful and she has a good body and, whatever, she's talented, it would make better sense to me for him to be like, oh, well, how do I keep her around? How do I keep her happy? Because obviously it's going to be guys trying to get at her, So it's like you think that because that person is beautiful and has all these things, accomplishments in their life, that they wouldn't choose to be in that type of toxic relationship. But again, it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you like that person. It's the manipulation. It's the manipulation. I'm going to suck you in. And then when I do something good for you, I'm going to make sure that I throw it in your face. Just like he did, or allegedly what he did to Ashanti. He's like, I made you fuckable to the world. And it's like, no, she showed up that way. She showed up that way. Like she was already pretty and sexy and all of that. So it's just like, yeah, boy, knock it off. But some of the people that you would never think ever would put up with that type of bullshit, put up with it. Because I remember one of my aunties, I'll never forget, one morning she said, date this guy. Anyway, I don't know if it was morning. I feel like it was either morning or late morning, early afternoon. She was sitting in her bed, like how I am. And then she had like a little, like the bathroom area, kind of think like a glam area. And you sit there and put your makeup and, whatever, right? And she was sitting in the bed, just minding her business. And he was he was in the bed and she was over there like making herself up or whatever. And I came over there to ask something. And when I came in, he was like being so super disrespectful. And my aunt, okay, will beat a bitch down, okay? Come see about her. Like she's such a person that just does not take shit. So when you present this person to the world as a person that's like no nonsense and beat a bitch down in the street, you could imagine how shocking it was for me to watch my auntie get berated in the way that she did. I mean, every word he was saying, you dumb, you stupid, you fat, you this, that. It was just, you're just kind of like, say what? And so that's really when I stopped, and I probably was like 11. That's when I stopped believing that people who seem big and scary or seem very intimidating or might be bullies and whatever, that they have such high level of confidence and would never be treated that way. But it's quite the opposite. That type of manipulation, you could be the biggest, baddest, whatever. But sometimes you get sucked into it, and then the ultimate manipulation is they'll tell you some dumb shit like this. So if anybody out there under the sound of my voice, if you hear this bullshit, run. Okay. They'll say like, oh, I'm going to unalive myself because I love you so much and I can't bear to be without you. Tell them, go ahead, do it. They're not going to do it. because they're narcissistic and they're definitely always thinking about their own best interests or self-interest. Like, so they're not going to do it. It's a manipulation. And I can't tell you how many times I've had clients or whomever say that that's happened. And the thing is, they're playing on your psyche. They're playing on what would happen if this person does unalive themselves. I'm always going to feel guilty about it. And they know that people don't want to feel that way. That's why it's a manipulation. So, and those women typically stay because you don't want that on your consciousness. But like I said, if you're under the sound of my voice, run. Because if it was me, I'd be like, all right, well, go ahead and do it. I'll call the police and let them know, come by and come pick up your body. Like, don't do that. Like, I can't with people like that. Let's see. A Dove says, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's both Chanel's and Drip channels. Oh, y'all, I love y'all. Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's sad to see. And, and I hate that I'm just not learning this after this poor man has passed away. But, there's all these theories online talking about 50 Cent maybe has something to do with it. But well, you know what? I was going to say, I just don't see it, but I do kind of see where people would get that inference from. Because if 50 Cent thought that IRV Gotti sent that Supreme guy or his little minions to pow him. I mean, if 50 Cent thinks that IRV Gotti sent that Supreme guy to go, send his minions to pow 50 Cent, then I could see how people would tie that together and be like, well, they had beef. But I'm like, wasn't this beef like 20 years ago? Like in 2003 or some shit? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why you would be holding a grudge that long, but to each his own. But I feel like it's just a weird time in Hollywood right now, like in the celebrity world, because people die every day, right? And we all know people are going to die, but it's like these people that die in such mysterious ways. It's just not that diabetes isn't mysterious, but I'm like, for him to die at that age, at 54 or 56 or however old he is what's like a little weird. And I don't know. To me, all roads lead to Diddy. Child, all roads lead to Diddy. I feel like, because what Trick Daddy say? And everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it. And I want answers now. Okay. Who he gonna get? And what he gonna do? Run up on me if you want to. Poor Trick Daddy. I think Trick Daddy's suffering some sort of illness as well. I think, did someone say he has like a lupus? Or something's, I don't know. I feel like something's going on with Trick Daddy right now where he's not doing that well. And it's probably because, Trick Daddy, he messes with the cocaine. I can't say that's why, but is Trick Daddy sick from something? Let's see. Yeah, he has lupus. Yeah. Lupus is no joke. I have lupus. And, how it impacts people is different from, person to person. But there are, certain similarities that you have in terms of the symptoms. But, my lupus is thankfully relatively mild. But the problem with mine is, so it attacks my muscles. So what it does is it kind of feels like, you feel exhausted a lot. That's how my lupus works. And it's one of those ones you don't want to have because your biggest and most important muscle is your heart. So if it gets out of control, you'll have heart damage and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm too cute and too juicy for all of that. No, but no, seriously, it could be challenging because, like, I know when I wake up in the morning, I have to really kind of like decide what I'm going to do and give my energy to that day, because it could be 1 hour into the day or 5 hours into the day. And it's like, I am zapped. I don't have any more energy. I'm exhausted. And so it could just be very challenging. But people that I know that have way more severe lupus, it's like my auntie has it. It could really put you out of commission. Like, It's a very serious autoimmune disease. And basically what it is, it's kind of like your body thinks that something in your body that's supposed to be there is not either supposed to be there or it's not working right. So then it attacks what is actually normal, but your body sees it as something foreign or something that's trying to attack the body. So it thinks that it's helping you, but it's not. It's hurting you. Sort of like I'm trying to think if there's another I'm trying to think of another disease that might be like similar to that where your body, well, I guess it's mostly autoimmune when your body sends like those cells to kind of fight off something, but there's nothing to fight. But with lupus, that's what happens. It thinks that it's supposed to be fighting off something. So it can ravage your life, unfortunately. But anyway, I want Trick Daddy to get his life together. I don't want him to be gone. But Trick said he smoked that cocaine. How about y'all remember that song, the Shut Up song? And he was like, cocoa leaves. What did he say? Something about cocoa leaves. How about I did not know? Listen, until I just listened to it yesterday. He was talking about cocaine in the weed. I didn't know, but again, I don't hang around people that do drugs or anything like that. So I don't really know about stuff like that. But I didn't know. Like I remember he was on the Breakfast Club some years ago, and he talking to Charlemagne, Girlemagne is what I call him, Girlemagne the God, him. And he was saying, yeah, I just like to smoke my weed and put a little cocaine in it and smoke it. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And I remember Charlemagne looking at him like, yo, like, yo, what you mean? You don't see nothing wrong with it. And he was so like, yeah, what do you mean? He made it seem like something as, and I know this is probably a bad comparison, but it's sort of like he equated it to, he didn't use these words, but to me, the way it landed on me was like, this is just like taking a shot at the bar. This is nothing wrong with it. I'm like, yeah, but it's highly addictive. And so is alcohol, but alcohol usually takes much longer to get addicted to, and the cocaine does not. But also, I think he grew up in like Miami or something like that. And my understanding, I've never been to Miami, but I've been to Florida a few times. But my understanding is, listen, Miami, it's like everywhere. The cocaine is everywhere. That's my understanding. But shout out to Miami because I ain't never been there, and I don't ever want to. I don't want to meet nobody like that. But probably has something to do with Pablo Escobar. Anyway, life is a trip. And this is why I always try to tell people, like, love on your loved ones, make amends with the people that pissed you off because they didn't pay attention to you or they hurt you or, whatever it is that people may have done. Because forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the burden of anger, right? Because when people get triggered, they get angry. You know what I'm saying? This person did that to me, and whatever it is, and whatever they have done could be very grotesque and horrible. And in many ways, people may feel it's unforgivable. But what I'm saying is, for the people that in your life that matter, tomorrow's not guaranteed. And everybody thinks that when they see that person, they're going to the grocery store or to work or whatever, or coming home from work, that I think people who haven't suffered that type of tragedy believe that we'll see them again. And it's just not always the case. And so I'm just like, tell people you love them now. Pay attention. Even if it's like your grandmother who did you wrong or want to cuss you out and she mean as hell or whatever, but she's your grandmother and you can't really tolerate her because you got a time frame with her before she drives you batshit crazy, right? But I always tell people, I'm like, so for people like that in your family that you're not gonna stop talking to, and you shouldn't because you'll regret it, is just make plans with that person once every month or every 6 weeks. Granny, I'm gonna come pick you up. We're gonna go have church, and then after I'm gonna take you to, Luby's or Church's Chicken, whatever. And that'll be my time for that, month or twice a month or whatever it is, so that when they inevitably pass, because listen, death is the great equalizer. We're all gonna die. No matter how treacherous you are or how good you are in this world, we all gonna die. It just is what it is. But for me, I'm like, those people that I love, regardless, but have decided they're toxic and I don't want that energy around me. But if they're really close to you, like a sister, brother, grandmother, mother, dad, whatever, you want to make sure. I don't like telling people what to do. I'll just tell you how I handle it. And I just am like, you got this many hours in the day or a week, whatever, that I'm going to decide that this is how much time I'm going to spend with this particular person, because you don't want to leave this earth or have them leave the earth. I'm going to say it like that. And you think, oh my God, I didn't talk to my mom for 3 months because of whatever it is y'all got into it about. Or I didn't talk to this, ex-boyfriend who we fell out, but, I really loved him and now he's gone. Or your brother or whoever it is. I'm just saying, hug the people in your family, let them know you love them, or your friends or whoever. Because the one thing I think is a great era for human beings is thinking that we have more time. We do. We think we do. We think we have time to do whatever, to wait to have kids, to buy a home, to whatever it is. We have time to make up with our family members and then they're gone. And you can't go get them. And it's hard to process. So anyway, I encourage everybody to, love on your loved ones, tell them you love them, even if it's just a text to say, I love you. A-Dub says, dang, that's scary to think about. Sorry you're going through that. Oh, love. I appreciate it. And A-Dub says, our grandparents were the glue that kept our family together. Exactly. But sometimes, people have, and I've seen this, even in my own family, they have strained relationships with the people that they love. And then they're gone, and it's like you don't have that opportunity to go back and, tell them anything. And sometimes in this life, you have a parent or sister, brother, whomever is suffering from some illness, and you're thinking that they're going to either make it or they have, they'll get through it somehow. And sometimes people get sick and die swiftly. I have a friend, her mom is just like literally the chef's kiss. She's just one of the most remarkable, incredible people I've ever met in my life. And she got sick some years ago. And I feel like she got sick in February, and by like August, she was gone. And I never forget like going to her house when she was in hospice. And, it's just to see someone like that who was gorgeous, not only physically gorgeous, but smart and just likable and beautiful soul, just all of that. And she just was skin and bones. And I wish I could unsee it, but I'm glad that I, did go. But like, that's hard to see someone deteriorate like that in front of you. And her daughter, my friend, was only 22. You need your mama at 22 to tell you about all these idiot boys that's going to try to do whatever. Like you just do. You need your mom there. And it's so sad. Yeah, but you don't know when someone's going to go or how swiftly they're going to go. So just do your best to, be kind to people, assume best intent, and don't take your life for granted. And just, if you can, have positive self-talk. It's easy to have the negative self-talk, but have positive self-talk. And just remember every single day, there is a purpose that you serve, even if you don't feel like you do to people in your life, because people in your life can sometimes be assholes. Let's just call it what it is. Or, you can have a lot of stress from work, your kids, your husband, your wife, whatever. It could become overwhelming. But anyways, so I just wasn't expecting this IRV Gotti guy to pass away. Like it just never occurred to me. Like I was just like, what? Because you hear people always saying, "Oh, this celebrity has passed away." This celebrity, and you're just kind of like, whatever. Because people do that. I don't know why they make up these fake stories that celebrities are, dead and gone. It's ludicrous. But I feel bad for his family, whoever they are. I feel bad for them because it's so sudden, boom. and they're gone. But I mean, I don't know if you believe the reports basically say that he had diabetes, and so that was a complication, and I think a stroke. But it's unconfirmed, and everything on Chanel's reality is, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes only, and it's all alleged. Okay, everything is alleged. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel. This is my reality. But I'm going to try to eat dinner. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock. I ain't had dinner. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your night and happy Sunday. And have fun at your Super Bowl party tomorrow if you're partying like me. Party like a rock. Party like a rock star. I know I'm extra. Anyway, guys, hit that like button, subscribe button, and a notification button. It's a free and easy way to support my channel. Until next time, bye, guys. Talk to you later, beautiful people.